Well, okay, with me today is Chai, who is getting our runners counted down to begin the race. What we have here today is a PlayStation 1 roguelike mystery dungeon game. There is a tower full of 40 randomly generated floors that these runners will be playing to get as far as they can, as fast as they can. They will be getting it slightly randomized, even above the normal randomization, and that is the random toolkit part. The first 5 items are normally set, as is the monster you get first is normally set, but here both of those are going to be random. The monster will have its spell unlocked, so they will have a familiar with the starting spell. But that's all they can really be sure of. Chat is already underway, making bets as to which of the eggs will be, what the egg will be, and what will be the starting monster. I felt like today there might be a golem. Chai, did you have a guess?
Yeah, now you should be able to hear me, right?
Yep.
Hello, chat. Sorry, small technical issue on my side. Golem, I don't know about that. Golem is too close to Septic. He's sort of his plushie, so I would want something to be non-biased. Let's say a killer.
Alright, let's see how that works.
It's gonna be.
We'll be able to see the starting monster in just.
Ooh.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. That's cheap.
It's still a chance to be a little bit bad. If it's a wind
It could
Ashra,
be wind.
Yeah, they will struggle because Ashra, as good as it is, it actually, unfortunately, or Arachne, it unfortunately does require its attack to be restored. So it's not so amazing at lower levels. And okay, yeah, if it had like a wind element, which would be sort of bad for early floors, they would have actually quite the trouble fighting on some floors. But with the fire Ashra, they probably will be okay. Let's see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. We also see that the egg is one of an evolved form of a monster. We can tell because it doesn't have its name, because you're not supposed to find these. Which means that it's also, it's a Cune! That's unusual. Starting monster.
I wonder which they will go with, because they do have a Scarlet Wand, right? And that would like power up Cuny a lot.
Yeah, good question. By the way, as noted, we can see that they're not using their usual HD because we happen to have, for the use of this tournament, the state display, giving us all sorts of handy game information at our fingertips.
And they went with Ashra, okay. So maybe, can you tell us what is the mixture magic of Ashra, especially the fire Ashra, right? Because this type of mixture magic is very dependent on the element.
Mm-hmm. The fire mixture magic will blind enemies. It does use the wand, so that's acid rain balls and steel sword. So I guess Reven wins according to the rules that we just made up, or that we always make up.
And
but interesting that we see Reven using that steel sword for an early boost, because the mixture magic for D-Mirror does account for wands, and therefore it's wand bonus and elemental bonus.
I was just saying that, you need to get that Ashra to higher level, and then you need to recover its attack, and the item for attack recovery is not so common, and they find 2 Hazak herbs already, so okay. My prediction is they will definitely go with Ashra, and they will have quite easy tower. Of course, tower can say no with a nasty trap or a starting room, but more likely than not, they will have quite easy time thanks to those 2 Hazak herbs.
Yeah, I think so. So we were predicting that they'd fuse Ashra into Cune. That is an option. It would give us the Ashra's double attack. I'm surprised they didn't, for 2 reasons. The first is that Tune can be picked up and the Ashra cannot. And that allows for a lot of movement tech. And the second is that Tune has more MP than just about any other monster. And MP is a reasonably valuable resource. It is more or less the food mechanic of Azure Dreams. Every roguelike has to have a food mechanic. That's how these things work. Oh, Septic getting the paralysis trap early. That is something of a meme that this always happens to Septic. Luckily this time it did not end badly for him.
I had a small another technical issue with my microphone, but I hopefully didn't lose much. I'm back now and it should all be working fine. But yeah, I missed sort of a Septic special, like Lady Deme mentioned. On these early floors, the paralysis trap more often than not will not cause the troubles as it can on the higher floors. But yeah, it's always nice to see that so that we can have a little bit of a laughter. Of course, friendly laughter at our community members. Many of our community members have this kind of, let's say, a mark for their existence in Azure Dreams world. And paralysis trap is one of the things for Septic.
Now, these floors are seated, so they are playing on the same tower. And one other feature that we haven't mentioned of this tournament's rule set and how we're randomizing things. Spell balls are randomized elements, that's important. And the second one is relevant on Septic's side. We see a go up trap on his screen in the room he just left, or do we?
Or do we? That is one of the rules in this tournament where we sort of want to troll our players, because in the last tournament we could see surprisingly high success rate in beating the tower. So we wanted to make it a little bit harder, and one of the things to make this harder is replace a go up trap with a go down trap. So instead of going one floor up, they will go one floor down. But this is not just to troll them. That can actually be used in some situations to their advantage, especially on early floors. Maybe Lady Deme, you want to explain how that could be used in such case?
Well, the floor will be the floor they left, but as if they were entering it for the first time. In other words, all the items will be back exactly where they were for you to pick up all over again. And if the items are any good, that can give you a little bit of an edge.
Exactly. It's especially useful when they find a go down trap on floor number 2, because then they will go back to the starting floor, which just has 5 items in front of you and an elevator. So it's a fairly quick endeavor to just like go down, get whatever you needed to get from there and immediately go up. I think in the last match, in one of the matches in the last round, we have seen a situation where one of our runners actually visited floor 1 3 times to stack up on really good starting items and then just quickly flew through the tower.
It is a fun little bit of knowledge, something that requires practice specifically with the randomizer to really figure out where is this most advantageous. Reven has been doing a pretty good job of juking these mana weavers, taking advantage of their relatively small view sets. Also, actually using the mixer magic. This is one of the places where not fusing Q into the Ashra has some consequences, because as you can't just pick the Ashra up for easier Manaweeba juking.
They definitely have to lose a little bit of a time to be able to juke the Manaweeba the way that they would normally want to. Sometimes it's bagging your familiar. Sometimes it's taking a hit for the familiar. But there is definitely a small time loss. in opposition to what they normally would do. And with these runners, it actually might matter. I don't know, have you, Lady Dem, already like discussed our runners? If
They are a this pair, Septic, has been really putting in a lot of work over these past couple of tournaments. We see a lot of practice in that regard, but they're both pretty formidable. They got to the semifinals of the losers bracket on the last random toolkit tournament. So this is gonna be an intense match.
Septic is very active in like playing Azure Dreams still for the leaderboard for multiple categories. Reven is nowadays playing less, but he's still very, very formidable player. We've actually been doing few practice runs before the tournament, and he's always been doing such a good job. I absolutely cannot predict which one will win. It might be go left, go right RNG situation, who will just like have a little bit better luck in taking the right path. So let's see. I really think we are in for a very good match, in for a treat.
I think so. And so as well. They are now at the part of the match where they're going to be trying to. Reven in particularly is at the floors where he's gonna want to be going a little bit faster. His monster is a fire elemental, and that does mean that these floors full of water monsters not gonna be his favorite place to be. This is intended as the game's first real difficulty spike to send you home. But we're likely not going to see that happen. It always could, because Azure Dreams is cruel and arbitrary. Pushing!
We could see that Reven is taking it very safely. He was afraid for his Ashra. This Ashra had 8 HP left. Bloom was able to hit it for 9. So yeah, Reven didn't want to risk it. He was not sure whether he can kill that Bloom. Maybe he could have missed or something. So just take a hit for Ko, and the climb continues. Also, Reven actually did something dangerous on a little bit different scale, in that sense that that Bloom actually has a skill that can make your familiar to be confused. And Reven did allow for that to possibly happen, but luckily for Reven it never happened.
That was a little bit sad. This is a bit of a tricky situation that Reven is in, where either
miscalculation. Didn't he see that he's gonna take more? Didn't he use medicinal? Oh,
I think he was hoping that the U-boat would just attack something else, another angle, once it was blinded, but that was not a good situation.
Yeah, Reven knows this game so well. He knows that like if a monster is blind, it will just attack whatever is in front of it. So that is a really like weird mistake from Reven. We'll have to ask him about it in the interview. But right now the situation is that Reven dies on floor 8. He was there first. According to the rules of the match, Septic needs to get to floor 9 to win this round.
If he gets to floor 8, Reven will take it for speed. We do want these runners running fast, but that was a surprisingly early floor to go out on. It's not unreasonable. The game expects you to. That is just the caliber of runner we're talking about here. That what normal gameplay is unusual.
Fully agree with that. I was not expecting them to die so early. Oh, here we've seen the situation where that Ashra could have been brainwashed. And we can see sort of change in tactics here that Septic is using and Reven didn't. We're talking about Hazak Herb. They found 2 of them. And Septic already used one of those Hazak Herbs on Ashra. And we can see the damage difference or the difference that it makes, because that Ashra, even against elemental disadvantage, advantage, was doing pretty decent damage. So I think that was a way to go. If you have 2 Hazak herbs, go ahead with the first one fairly quickly so that you can use them against water monsters. And that might be the strategy to actually let Septic wins in this match.
It does seem that way. Still, that floor 8 starting room is a little bit tricky, and we'll see how Septic handles it. His Ashra is also on low HP. Ashra is kind of a glass cannon monster.
Reven tried to pick up that U-boat, but unfortunately for him, it failed. If I know Septic well enough, I think he will also go for a pickup. And only later on he will try... Oh no, he actually goes for the blind, so he will take a hit and then walk away. That is a very safe strategy, definitely. There you go. Oh, bomb trap.
That could have gone rough, but that is out of this situation. Now, all Septic has to do is find the elevator out of this floor.
Know that Reven died on floor 8. Our runners are not allowed to watch their own streams or their opponent's streams. Sorry, so Septic is playing as he would be playing normally, and he's taking on this floor already quite long time. And I know Septic, he's probably frustrated, like, why does it take so long? Why there are so many monsters coming? Because at this point he just wants to find an elevator, regardless of whether Reven died or not. He just wants to be out of this floor.
It is not a floor you want to stay on. U-boats are nasty. We saw that. Reven is giving us the full monster book spotlight on them. The floor of the tower is not in the sea. The habitats of these monsters in the monster tower are strange. And they are all not in their stated habitats, except for the ones specifically found in the tower as their habitat.
That could have ended badly a moment ago. Septic stepped on Sleep Trap, so we could say that it's a variation of a Septic special. But luckily for him, that trap didn't work. And if it did, that Ashra wouldn't help him at all. The U-boat would have definitely tried to kill Ko, and definitely could have. But yeah, Septic is doing a little bit of inventory management. He's got too many items. I wouldn't say that good. They're not bad, but nothing really that special. I'm sure that Septic would feel better if he had some kind of attack spell ball of more than 1 charge. That Acid Rain is definitely a good spell ball, but unfortunately it has only 1 charge, which is like the name suggests, only 1-time use, right? So
right. Hey, it's a pretty powerful spell, but it's not a very dense resource compared to other attack spell balls.
Thank you. That is the word that I was missing. Dense.
Mm-hmm. The thing to note about what I was saying about the monster habitats in the book and how those are different from what the fact that these are all found in the tower is that I'm pretty sure the canonical explanation is a wizard did it. A wizard did everything about Azure Dreams' odd mechanics for no adequately explained reason. Which means that we can blame wizards too. Sand Knight and also wizards. Maybe Sand Knight is a wizard. Someone needs to check that.
Oh, Septic is a little bit having a misstep. He was hoping that U-boat would go in a different direction. Septic was rushing his steps, and now he's in a situation where that Ashra might die. No, with a blind, Ko will take a hit, make the Ashra stay, or move in the different direction. Yeah, walk away, and you're good. But I definitely want to ask Septic about this floor. How was he feeling? Because again, he doesn't know that Reven is down, but he knows that he's spending on this floor way too much time than he should. But there is an elevator. There is a win for Reven. For Septic. Round 1 for him. Let me ask our runners to load up the second seats.
That way we'll be able to get right to the action. It's funny. They had a pretty strong starting setup, but we're not really gonna see much of that. At however far they could go, this will soon be over. I love how, given how none of us is entirely sure how to pronounce Kuhn's name. Oh no, Septic got flung back to that unfortunate floor before. That's funny. Actually, wait, no. The unfortunate floor is floor 8. This one was much shorter, but we're still back in U-boat country.
I can see that Skiff is asking about my dog, which I don't have. I did have it in one of the matches. I was taking care of a doggo, and it was barking, but right now I don't have a dog, so I wonder what kind of barks do you hear? And we don't have Zeus yet. So that must be some
who knows?
imagining. But yeah, I guess chat, our runners are loading up a second seat. Now is the time for you to make predictions.
Doug is not barking.
Do you have a dog, Dema?
I do, in fact. He's adorable, but he is also not barking.
Why you never paid the dog tax on our Discord?
I will pay the dog tax after this. I took a picture of him just last night.
Awesome. Let's see whether our runners are still loading their seats, so we cannot confirm it. So, do we have any predictions? We have a Dreamin' and a Viper egg. Okay, that's something.
That's certainly a combination.
Shawnee is predicting a floor 9. I don't know. Based on the previous game, maybe not. Let's see.
I appreciate that sometimes the state display will just show Cursed Co. The portrait you never get to see because it wasn't included. It wasn't visible in the game itself. They decided not to tell you about the curse status effect. Looks like the seeds are good. But the state display is happy to show us all of the cursed status effect.
I call him Grumpy Co. I know that he's not technically grumpy. He's more like down or something like this. That's what his face is supposed to show. But to me, he's grumpy. And that's not the only face that state display is showing. He's showing off the state display is showing off all the faces that Co can make, and he can make quite many depending on the status that he has right now. Technically, they're all in the game, but I doubt that we ever see them because, for example, when you're paralyzed, you get something that I like to call a Steve Co. Because he's like a blocky person like in Minecraft. And you can see that face if you open up a menu while you're paralyzed, but why would you? So
you can't open up a menu while you're paralyzed. So
actually, you can. You can.
Can you?
You can, but
I feel
nobody
like I've
would.
tried that before.
Yeah, you can. You just have to mash that square button and then you're good to go. But yeah, nobody does that. Why would you open the menu if you cannot do any action anyway? So yeah, that is a one fun, nice addition to the viewers that we can see all the faces that Co can make.
Mm-hmm. That, maybe sometime I should. Septic clearly having feelings about that last floor 8 if he is going to name his Co after it.
Oh, yeah. Alrighty, our runners are counted down. So soon, when the stream catches up, we should see them running and we will see what the seed has for us. I still think that I would want to see a killer. I don't think that we've seen any seed in the tournament with the killer done properly. And I know that these runners know the killer, know its strength, and in early floors, it's even more powerful than a spider. With those two axes at hand, it will basically just obliterate everything in a single attack. And you don't even need to restore its attack to do that. And there they go.
And they're off.
So you've got 5-10 more seconds to make your predictions if you have any. Once they mash through the text, we'll see the name of a monster. And
All right, let's see.
Mandara.
Andara.
That is not a good one.
1 second. Someone is making some sort of noise outside, so I am going to shut my door.
Sure. So let me talk a little bit about Mandara. Mandara is originally a monster that we meet in the tower, like past floor 26. It's originally water. This time we are getting wind Mandara. So what we are getting is a wind version. Oh yeah, this will be a paralysis spell. So that's not bad on its own. Mandara doesn't have too much HP. Its attack is not so good. The magic that it has fort is really good, but it's also super expensive and you don't really have any easy way to recover its MP, so it will be not that useful. But I was wrong. Isn't the fort actually a sword mixture magic? Oh, forget whatever I was saying. We have a Garuda. we don't have to talk about
this
Mandara.
match is now a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
Garuda, you see, has the ability to abduct. It takes whatever is in front of it, whatever it is abducting, and it goes somewhere else with it. When that something is you can go very, very fast. It's very broken. It's alarmingly cheap. You never have to fight ever again. But you probably need to fight at least a little bit.
Yeah, and we can see Septic immediately taking Garuda out. Reven opted first to kill that troll, and that then probably replaced everything with Garuda. The thing is that even though they have amazing familiar that will probably let them go through the whole tower, they still, for safety, want to pick up some items. We can even see that Reven actually is doing it without the Garuda. He just dropped the Mandara all together, and he's trying to find some items and only then start using the Garuda probably. But yeah, they still need some items. Oh, now that's a little bit scary situation. What can happen now, Lady Dema?
Now, the flame could snipe that Garuda out of existence. It could be over very quick. This is Zumi's percent, though. But for those asked, there was a question earlier in chat about why they're resetting. That is because this race is a best of 3, but each individual of the 3 rounds is only one shot up the tower to get as far as they can, as fast as they can. This game is punishing, it is unfair, it is a cheat. Sometimes you can do everything right and still die anonymously on an early floor and there's nothing you can do about it, and we don't want to deprive the audience of any Azure Dreams action. So here we are, best of 3.
This one will be a very interesting one to watch, because like in previous match, we were probably trying to see how skilled they are with their knowledge about the tower and everything. In this game, they don't need that much. They just need to zoom as fast as possible, because whenever they're in danger, they don't need to solve the situation, how to come out of it on top. They just need to use the abductability and be teleported away from the nasty situation.
That being said, there are still going to be situations that abduct cannot necessarily get you out of. For example, you could land on a trap and bad things could happen. You could end up abducting to the wrong spot. You could misstep. You could be ambushed by some sort of misfortune.
We just seen situation on the Septic side where he was in a little bit of a pickle. He was surrounded by 2 monsters and he was debating whether should finish at least one of them, get the experience and then abduct away, or should I maybe abduct away immediately. And he still ended up having quite low HP and opted to walk around the floor with that low HP. So any unfortunate trap could have ended that run. Luckily for him, nothing of that sort happened. Right now, he was checking the tiles for bombs because again, he's still quite low HP. He's waiting for this HP to recover. And
we saw Reven switch his Garuda from wind to fire, and that has a couple of good reasons to be doing that. One, basically all direct damage your spells that could snipe you from a distance are fire elemental, and wind is weak to fire. Number two, all traps that could damage you directly, such as bombs, also fire elemental, also deals extra damage to that wonderful zoomy meal ticket. Again, basically, by switching Garuda, for Reven's case to fire from Septic looks to be to water, is to secure the Garuda against accidents. Dreamin' Egg, that's not that great. Could have been good.
Completely useless.
Just a dreamin'. Just a dreamin'. Yeah. That said, you could fuse it into the Garuda to sleep-proof yourself, and that would prevent one form of disaster that could happen, but you would also have to get the Garuda back to non-wind elemental, and you would also have to, take time in a Garuda run, and why would you do that?
Because like Lady Deme mentioned, Reven switched his Garuda to fire. Septic in the meantime actually switched his Garuda to water. And our runners can fuse monsters to pass on the abilities, etc. But during the fusion there is also an elemental change. Oh, a warp trap.
Oh, it's right to the elevator, so nothing bad happens to Garuda.
Yeah, continuing my thought, in the fusion, the winning element is the winner of the elemental triangle. We've got three elements: fire beats wind, wind beats water, and water beats fire. So when Garuda is water, Dreamin' is wind. The result of such fusion would be wind. And like we explained earlier, wind is not something that they probably would want to have. But I sort of agree with you.
Ideal.
Getting that sleep proof wouldn't be bad at all, because again, nasty traps happen, and that would be one of the traps basically eliminated.
Mm-hmm. MP switch for Garuda can do things other than simply zoom about, but no! Septic! Thought Garuda could take a hit, but it could not, and that run is now going to be much slower, completely different. Septic probably going to go commando at this point, because there's not much else to be done about it.
So Septic made a mistake there. I'm sure that he didn't want to do what he did. He probably could have ended up being okay with that mistake if that wasn't a crit. But Clown is wind, Garuda was water, water is weak against wind, and on top of that there was a crit, and that ended Garuda's lives. Luckily for Septic, he did find a Nia Breed Ball that he's using a little bit too much right now. He already used 3 charges of it, so that could have been something that would help him definitely in the higher floors, but who knows, maybe he'll find something else. The thing is, Reven doesn't have to worry about anything like that. He also switched his Garuda now to water, so he also has to watch out for unfortunate clowns hitting you critically. So let's see. But right now, even though Septic is in the lead, and I would say quite considerably, 5 floors, Reven is still in a much better situation.
Oh, this is rough. One-room floors can be some nasty stuff. While you do see where the elevator is instantly, you see where the treasure is instantly, all the monsters know exactly where you are instantly. And they're gonna come for you immediately. That's just how it is.
It looks like Septic will have to deal pretty much with all of the monsters in the room, because the elevator is far away, and the monsters that he has to deal with are very nasty. Go for poison, slow struts? Or no?
I think that might be the best. you can do. What you gonna do, Septic?
Septic is
Just gonna
trying to
take that
just
hit,
take hits.
keep going, but that's gonna be tricky because Septic's gonna have to walk back over that way to
More than
get that
one
elevator.
hit to take, yeah. Okay, he's getting some
That
item in the
scroll
meantime.
not cursed, not worth it.
Oh,
not worth it.
miscalculation, but luckily he survived.
Mm-hmm. Reven is now confused. Luckily, less luckily, there is now another clown coming. That's less than ideal.
One.
What does Reven hope happens here? Here, it looks like he is going to take the hits from these unfortunate clowns.
I don't know, Reven. You're in a bad situation now. Okay, Holy Scroll, that's good. And now you recover from confusion. Make that Garuda stay or actually move away. And okay, or hide it. That's also possible.
But that was close. That could have been pretty scary. Looks like Septic. They're getting some pickups on these trolls. One thing that is not so bad about going commando, going completely familiarless. Oh, Mandara coming out? Mandara coming out.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Clearly.
Do not make any mistakes like that. Bye-bye, Mandara. You'll be missed or not.
Fairly well. It was interesting for the 2 seconds we thought about you.
And there was so much to say about Mandara. No, there wasn't. But, yeah.
Restore Scroll! Garuda's back! The dream lives on!
Lucky Septic. Restore Scroll is not something that anybody really counts on. That's quite a rare item. But luckily for Septic, he does find it. And he's now in the lead with 5 lords and still having a Garuda.
Very nice. Good for him.
Yeah. Reven finds another Chaos trap, but this time he's using Anti-Chaos Herb to heal himself. He sees an elevator.
Dick is going to be poisoning these monsters. Oh, that's not a great room to be in. Oh no!
Don't do that, Garuda.
Duck takes you just back to where he was again. There must not be a lot of rooms on this floor. And yes, Restore Scroll, very rare. Here, I think you probably don't see it more than, I don't know. No. Don't see it more than, say, once every 5 runs minute. I would say probably is about the max one could reasonably expect it. Sometimes you see multiple in one, and then you're like, Tower, why are you like this? Oh, water crystal, that's nice. Just gonna give folks everything they want here. That Neobread Ball will be handy for getting the Garuda some more HP in the form of experience. That is one of the things you can do that's pretty handy. Interesting.
Septic is using sort of a trick that makes peek at those tiny little monsters that are completely not annoying. Normally they steal from you, but if you toss a liver fruit at them, they'll be satisfied with what you gave them and they'll just walk away.
Oh, that's handy to know.
In the meantime, Reven is handling this one room floor and it's much easier for him. He's able to lead all the monsters in one direction and then just abduct away into safer position. Yeah, he just manipulated all the monsters and did this room without taking a hit.
Very fortunate for him. That is how life becomes just easier when you have Garuda.
Yeah. Okay, Reven is using White Sands on Neobread Ball. He found 2 White Sands, so that gives him pretty much 2 additional charges on that ball. That is definitely a nice find. He's a little bit low level 5 on Ko, level 3 on Garuda. Like Lady Deme mentioned, you do want to get a little bit more HP, mostly for the fact that you should be able to take a hit. If you cannot take a single hit, that is a very, very scary concept for you, especially that mistakes happen. And right now, you can be slowed as well. There is an elevator. Can he get there safely? There is a... Uh-oh. Luckily for Septic, he recovered from that slow just in time.
And finds into a fire spell ball. That'll be a handy thing. That gives him a little bit more elemental control. There are some more options for what monsters can... Oh, that's free abduct. That's fantastic.
So Reven right now covers a fire element with a fireball and water element with Neobreed. He doesn't have anything for wind, but again, he always has a quite safe get out of jail card in form of abduct from Garuda, so he's quite good.
That said, I think while normally I would say that water is one of the better elements for your familiar to be, I feel like there's gonna be a stretch coming up ahead. Septic probably saw that elevator on the spin-in.
Yes, what does he do? Oh, that's a nice trick. Care to explain?
Yes, vipers eat eggs because they are like snakes if snakes were also bikers. And they will go directly for any sort of, oh, that just gets rid of the egg. Huh.
It does.
No think. Azure Dreams is a perfectly programmed game. And never does anything weird.
Oh, that's interesting. I think it's okay. That viper ate an egg. It already went into its digestive system, so it's essential part of that viper. If you're getting rid of the viper, you're getting rid of the egg, right?
Yep, it's less a bug and more an interaction that I wouldn't have expected. When you defeat a viper that's eaten an egg, it drops the egg. It loses some attack power, but man was just determined anyway.
Egg was not in any capacity useful to our runners. Probably even if they used it as an egg bomb, the attack from the Dreamin wouldn't be really too powerful, so they couldn't count on a kill from that at all.
Yeah, I'm wondering, a familiar bell, that will reduce how scary, say, warp traps are.
And a very nice abduct right next to the elevator. And Septic now has a 6th floor lead. Reven knows where the elevator is. He used an exit loop. Oh, watch out for the pickets. It's supposed to be not dangerous, but at this level, everything is dangerous.
Absolutely. There's a decent chance of really anything. One of the reasons I was going to say that I think water on this floor is not a great state for the Garudas to be in is that these floors, in particular that Septic is on, have stealth.
There you go,
and
Septic
stealths
special.
are monsters that can be invisible. They can spawn in as invisible, they can turn invisible. And that means that you might not think Garuda is in danger, but Garuda is now in danger perpetually. And that's very scary indeed.
At this level, because again, I don't know the exact calculation here, whether stealth would be able to one-shot Garuda, but it is very much a possibility at this level. Level 4, only 22 HP. I think there is a chance to die in one hit. And Septic would have to be super lucky to get a 2nd restore scroll. So I don't know whether
that would be insane luck.
And there you go, purely wind floor. There is nothing but wind monsters here, so everything is super scary. And Septic actually didn't find a fireball like Reven did that would probably make quick work of those wind monsters. 2nd familiar bell, good safety, but still Garuda is way too low level. You have to watch out, Septic.
Absolutely, this is a scary little stretch of tower. Well, okay, rather all stretches of tower or past this point are now scary. That's how the tower works. Even if they were like actually fighting enemies, odds are pretty decent that they would be outgunned massively.
I think like that Garuda at this point, no matter what hits it, will die in one hit. For the Ko, I'm still not sure. I think Ko can probably take 2 hits. Probably.
I would say take 1 hit, and then like be on 10 HP. Seeing 30 damage from one of these guys' hits isn't unreasonable even when you're not massively under level.
Septic used a little bit of a strategy here by using Holy Scroll on that zoo. That zoo is now fighting for him, and he's using it in this way that instead of letting him run loose, he's picking it up and always throwing it at enemies that he wants to dispose of. But that zoo probably is in a very bad shape right now, but that shouldn't be a problem. That might actually be beneficial to Septic because he does want to kill it and get experience from it. Although he's making such horrible damage that Septic is dedicated.
Forever.
I think that zoo doesn't have that much HP, so it will be like 10-15 hits probably, but Septic desperately needs experience, and he doesn't have good attack.
Throwing a fire sword at it. That is an option. It will deal some damage, but in this case, the same amount as literally everything else.
Time loss gives Reven some chance to catch up a floor or 2, but the distance...
There we go.
There you go, yeah. That gives some safety to Garuda. That window in which Reven can catch up is getting shorter and shorter because there is only 40 floors in the tower, and with Garuda, it's the word only that is the key. Normally it's 40 floors, but with Garuda, you can zoom through them very, very quickly. So there is not... Yeah, there you go, 1 abduct and you are next to the elevator, so... Not much time to catch up.
Not much time at all. Reven is also going to use the egg strat. The Viper will just go for that egg, disregarding everything else. Oh, that could have gone very bad.
Yeah. Reven actually used a little bit different egg than Septic because he still has his dreaming egg. I didn't notice what kind of egg he picked up and when was it.
It appears it was a second dreaming egg. There were just 2 dreaming eggs. Oh, that egg could be a handy bomb at this point.
Oh yeah. So egg is there. Yeah, Manoiva doesn't wake up luckily for Septic. So he goes to floor 29. 7 floors lead.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen the elevator on the spin. There is no problem getting there. Luckily, I don't see any monsters. Naplas is far away enough, as long as there is no Septic special on the way. Yeah, there you go. Elevator, floor 30.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Reven is getting a little of EXP faster. Now is a slightly higher level. The difference between levels isn't very significant at this point. That is to say, level 9 versus level 10 is 3 HP, which is, at this stage, still actually pretty good, but you know, not fantastic.
First floor 31 in this game, we get to see some kind of plot. There is this mysterious blue-haired man who is pretty much telling us, get to the top floor and then you can fight me.
Basically, he killed our father. He wants a second round. We want revenge. Let's go.
I know that we want revenge, but now we do.
Right. We never knew what happened to our father, and now we know. Now we know.
We know. A little bit of very good elevator luck right now, and Septic is now 9 floors ahead from Reven. Reven is still dealing with Vipers. I think last floor for the Vipers. Yeah, so
everything could go bad at this point.
With the Garuda, we've sort of quote-unquote old strategy for the Garuda, it was much less safe to travel with the Garuda because it would always teleport you next to the monster, and then more often than not you would die because you're always under leveled when you are with Garuda. We now have a little bit different strategy with Garuda where you move to a new tile while abducting. That makes it so that it's 99.999% safe to not get hit even if you get teleported next to a monster. The only situation in which you can get hit is if you get teleported to exactly same location and monster is already next to you. So yeah, that doesn't happen very often. It does happen, but not very often. So we call it Safe Garuda. Both of our runners are using it. But Septic is now in a little bit of a pickle. He used Nia Breed.
Oh, and it wasn't enough. He is too low level.
He's counting on another Nia Breed. Luckily, it's there. I'm fairly certain that if he didn't have that charge, the dragon would have murdered him in a single hit.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. But luckily for
dragons don't want to mess around. Oh no, Reven!
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's
confused. Traps. No, this is a malicious scroll, looks like.
Oh yeah, but luckily for Reven, even if his Garuda died, he still has a restore scroll, so that's okay. It survived with 1 HP only. But yeah, at this point in time, Reven had a very, very slim chance of winning unless something really bad happens to Septic, because he has only 5 floors left to beat the tower.
Very little time to make up the difference. And very little time.
He doesn't have much to deal with monsters in terms of items, but he doesn't need it. He just needs good teleportation luck.
That does seem to be the case. This inventory isn't pretty decent inventory, but probably not what you would want for a vanilla climb at this point. But luckily, they have a Garuda climb, and who needs anything else?
I'm quite sure that most of our runners would take a Garuda blindly any time of the day instead of having like stacked inventory. So yeah.
Septic
on a golem, that's a little bit of a safety. I think he just wanted to replace it with an egg because the egg can be used as an egg bomb. And there you go, elevator floor 37, 3 more floors. While Reven is on floor 27, about to go to floor 28.
Yeah, that is a huge gap. And it's an interesting one because Septic has, I would say, had worse luck pretty consistent through this match, but it just worked out that way.
Septic is using Blinder Ball to quote-unquote get rid of that golem, but that is a very nice find. It's something that will help him move into the direction that he wants without teleporting away. I doubt that he will be using this ball constantly, but it's more like a safety item or sometimes a speed item. When you see the elevator, you know where you want to go, but there is a monster in your way and you have nothing to do. So yeah, that's what this blinder will be used for.
Where in a situation where an abduction would probably make things a little bit worse.
A little bit less luck with finding that elevator, but there you go, floor 38. Reven was able to catch up 2 floors or 3 floors in the meantime, but his chances are very, very grim right now in this game.
Yeah, I think these 2 floors would have to be impossible in order for
or the trap.
Or trap. Something terrible would have to happen for Septic not to be the winner of this match.
But if you get teleported next to elevator, how is that bad luck?
Right.
1 last floor.
One last floor.
And
floor
there
40
you go.
is there.
GG.
Okay. Sub 30. The Wugga called it. I mean, in practice, if one were actually counting the time, we counted at the ultimate egg, but good enough. Absolutely fantastic. GG. Septic wins this round.
Oh wait, my bad. I somehow thought that. I somehow told our runners that we've got a decider, but Septic won. He won the first game, so it's end of the match. It's game, set, and match.
Yep. Okay. We might see a friendly third. We might not. That is something we can ask the runners about. And if Reven would like to make it all the way up. No, looks like we will be seeing a friendly third. For this match. We'll get to see one more round of Azure Dreams action, as that last one was a little bit abbreviated.
Second round, as crazy as it was for Septic to get time sub 30, again, Garuda matches are a little bit different. Of course, they require skill. You have to be quick with your decision making. You have to know how to beat the game fast. But it's sort of very safe. I definitely want to see a struggle in this match where our runners show the full knowledge of the game, of their arsenal, what they can do, tough situations in which they really have to brain hard. So yeah, let's see what the third seed will bring.
Yeah, I still haven't seen my golem. You have not seen your killer. What is everyone else thinking they'll see in this third seed?
I still want to see killer. It's a little bit good familiar, so maybe a little bit less interesting in terms of trying to brain hard for the tough situations, but still killer would be fun to watch for me. And it seems that the seed for Reven is correct.
I suppose this technically was a sub 30 Mandara run.
Mandara was used for a second, so maybe.
Mandara existed.
We've seen it. We talked about it.
We did the spiel. That counts. Anyway, this third match will just be for fun. Just them against the tower, rather than necessarily against each other. Mandara was in the credits, that's true.
And we're waiting for Septic seed to confirm it.
Looks good.
It's correct as well. So soon we'll have the last game of today's match.
Mm-hmm. But after that there will be more tournaments, though admittedly on other days. Is the Azure Dream command set up? Because we can hype up our Discord. It is a wonderful community for all people interested in Azure Dreams, interested in seeing more matches like this, interested in all of our categories and all of these games. There is. Why sand? Why sand indeed?
Yeah.
In everything Azure Dreams, be sure to check out our Discord. I absolutely forget if... Okay, there is our command set up this time. Excellent. And you will be notified for more matches if you sign up for the Azure Watcher role. Septic giving a nod to Garwugga himself.
And our runners are counted down. We should be seeing them starting soon-ish. One quick note, we already know the result of this match. Septic won 2-0. So Septic did take his revenge for the last random toolkit tournament where he lost 2-0 against Reven. But that's not it for the Reven yet. He still has a chance to come back in this tournament. He's just being moved to the losers bracket and can still meet with Septic in the finals. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a final decider in the finals between these two runners. Let's see.
Maybe so. We've got them counted down, so they will be off as soon as Streamlag catches on up.
Predictions for the third match related to familiars and eggs?
I would like to see. I don't think we got any predictions. I would like to see. They're going. They are going without the starting familiar. It looks like they're going for glitched entry. Something that you see a bit more in any percent because we don't have the de-randomizers handy-dandy skipping of the tutorial floor, and so normally a regular entry would result in having to listen to like 2 minutes worth of rambling that we're not going to worry about here. We are going to skip the starter entirely.
A little bit funny situation where both of our runners actually had a little bit of a trouble to make a glitch entry. Reven having a little bit more than Septic. He eventually gave up going via the pita fruit. He went through another entry to do the glitch entry by walking around. But yeah, let's see what they do with the egg. Will it be used as an egg bomb? I presume that they will not hatch it at all, right? If they want to go full commando.
I would assume so. That's going to make it a much harder run. Probably a little bit fast, not as fast as that last run. I think the hardest parts about this sort of run is very early on when you're still very fragile and suddenly things you theoretically could fight with a familiar, you can't fight. That first level will probably do the most in helping them out of that situation. Fire Crystal, not bad. And it gets worse the longer they leave it running, but it is at least one more way of dealing damage to get out of a crisis.
I'd say that their inventory looks pretty good already. They've got 2 Noah balls, which are a wind element spell, so all the scary water monsters can be dealt with. Fire crystal can help with also wind. It can help with wind monsters, so that's not bad.
No, not that bad. Wind monsters don't really make up the most intimidating monsters in the tower. They're much more likely to be monsters that are dangerous because they have a dangerous crit. Like the stealths, like the pickets. Like a lot of wind monsters, because basically the thing in the tower that cannot kill you, you just haven't run into it in the wrong situation yet.
That is a very wise words from you, Lady Dema. The tower is super scary and everything can kill you. You just need sometimes a little bit specific situation for it, but yeah, anything can kill you. Even that sweet Polompa can kill you.
Absolutely. I remember a while ago. There was someone playing the game blind for streaming purposes who just got in this vicious cycle of re-entering the tower and dying immediately, over and over and over again. It was sad to watch.
Oh yeah, this game is very good at not telling you what you need to know. It does tell you, but this information is sort of hidden here or there rather than given to you up front, so So yeah, it's not that easy. And now it looks like Septic is in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah, that's a lot of monsters and very little power to deal with them.
He probably is okay as long as there is nothing else coming out from that other side.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, you can just like think the hits and get to the elevator. That elevator placement is a little bit unfortunate because it's in a single exit room. Those are always the most fun to deal with. But yeah, Septic was able to, and he's now on floor 4.
Reven using that fire crystal to summon Salamander. Oh, that is a good point Rug has. As that, because the randomizer the spell is set to unlock the spell of that starting monster. That's true for all of monsters of the starting monsters type. So something out there has a spell. You don't know what it is. Could be bad. Hopefully they don't find out. At least not right away.
Yeah, I would still want to see them, I don't know, getting sniped by a Cyclone with a Grave spell, leaving them with only 1 HP. That would be fun to watch.
That is certainly a possibility.
And then
that is one of the scarier options, and then they would know.
Oh, Reven made a very risky decision of picking up monster while being surrounded by monsters with very low HP.
Yeah, that could go bad pretty fast. We see Reven also using that medicinal herb. We are seeing the price of going commando here.
Yeah, Reven recovered his HP, fought with the flame, so he's now good. He found that tricky elevator that Septic also had a little bit of a trouble to find. And he's now on floor 4. Septic in the meantime is dealing with some fire monsters. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any water spell that would make quick.
No.
Yeah, that would dispose of them quickly. So he has only wind spells. He needs to use them more than he would need to use a water spell. That's a little bit unfortunate because he definitely wants to save those charges for some water monsters. But yeah, in commando mode, as long as you're alive, anything goes, and it's better to not die than use your resources. Resources are only good as long as you're alive.
You can't take it with you. I mean, absolutely you cannot. That is how this game works. It is a hard-coded mechanic. You don't take anything with you when you die. But also, this is only one shot at the tower, so you really cannot take anything with you.
Yeah, normally when you play this game casually, you will probably make multiple entries to the tower, powering up a bit, like your items. You can always take 5 items with you to the tower, powering up your familiar. They do keep their levels. Only Ko is, in a roguelike mode where he's reset to level 1 every time he enters the tower. But yeah, before you finish the game, you will make multiple entries. These runners are supposed to do all of that in a single entry. They're not allowed to leave the tower at all. The moment they leave the tower, that's the floor as their score for them.
Interesting that Septic is trying to deal a little bit of damage on that sleeping U-boat. I would have done, in fact, exactly that. Get out of there as quickly as possible. No one wants. Oh, that's just make everything is now slightly worse.
This is the moment where you should use those wind balls, because I think Septic wanted to kill the U-boat to get a little bit of experience, which would give him a little bit more HP, right? But yeah, he noticed that attacking is way too slow. He needs to just get rid of it. But unfortunately, he was pincered from both sides, so he had to use the resources to get out of this situation. A little bit of a U-boat dance here while searching for the elevator.
U-boat never wants to be on the same tile as really just about anything, and so can manipulate its movements. It always wants to get the first hit in. Then, but this is not good. This is bad. Science says it's bad.
He needs to take another hit from a balloon. Luckily, there is an elevator. He will get out of this situation safely. So he's on floor 8, being level 4. There is an elevator here, but also there are 2 monsters that he has to deal with first before he can get to the elevator. What will be the answer? Salamander is actually not a bad idea. Although, can he survive that one hit from a clown? I think he can.
I'm not sure.
As long as it's not critical,
Leather
it should
shield.
be fine. Yeah.
Okay, just barely. Just barely.
So that gives him enough time. Oh, that's an unfortunate, but he can dance with the U-boat. That should be fine. As long as nothing else comes, he will be okay. But he probably would love to recover some HP, which he cannot right now. He needs to hope that the next floor gives him some room to breathe.
That would be nice. It's never a guarantee, though.
And it's not this time. Oh, Holy Bell, that's a nice find. And there was elevator on the spin as well. Yeah, there you go, floor 10. Let's see how Reven deals with this U-boat. I can see that Reven is much higher level. He's already level 6. So he decides
that
to
is how we
the
get
U-boat.
that little bit of extra. That explains the level gap we have here. Oh no, Septic put on an elemental shield and it is cursed. And that is the thing you want to see least. A cursed elemental shield is never pleasant because he now is fire elemental. He can't change that and he can't do anything about it. It's stuck until he finds a decursed scroll.
But it's pleasant for us. We get to see Grumpy
Co. We do get to see Grumpy Co. Also, so while it's not unusual to see extremely handsome intense Co, there's extremely handsome intense Co over there. I'm not sure why the Mahel Seed makes Co look more dashing, but it does. I guess because he's doing more dashing.
Yeah, he can dash at double speed, so why not look dashing while doing it? Another Holy Bell, okay.
That's what you want. Oh, he has it. He has a decurse scroll.
But that will not remove his curse. He's still cursed, luckily for us. So at least he's not stuck with the fire element, but yeah, the curse is there. Luckily for him, I don't think that he will ever actually attack directly anymore because he's definitely too low level. So that curse will not affect him in this regard, but being cursed also affects your trap luck. Traps don't have 100% guarantee to work. They're actually RNG sort of. And while being cursed, that RNG is a little bit less in your favor than usually it is. So this curse status technically still does affect him.
Looks like he risked it to get that Oleem, and that's gonna come in handy for him. Oleems are a pretty nice item to be able to find, and they basically get you out of one fight with a monster, automatic, no doubt, no misses, no problem.
So that Septic inventory is now really good, like 2 Holy Bells, 2 Oleems, 1 Holy Scroll, an Egg, Mahel Seed, Spell Balls, Wind, but still, and the Leather Shield, so yeah, Septic is set, Septic is set, he can go quite high. In the meantime, what does Reven has? Reven has 2 eggs actually, he did find an egg, I didn't notice when, but I presume it was before floor 11, so that's that potentially is an exciting egg, but I somehow feel that they both agreed that they will not use any familiars, so those eggs are just egg bombs.
Which is not a bad resource to have on you, particularly if the monster inside isn't, say, I find that monsters that can cast spells, such as clowns, and monsters that don't deal a lot of damage, like, say, Dreamins, tend to be the worst egg bomb options. But anything other than that could be pretty handy in an emergency situation.
And Septic found another Olim fruit. That's amazing. And so far he doesn't look like he needs those resources yet. He could be a little bit higher level, but at least he did level up on that Kraken that he killed. That gives him level 6. Maybe he will find some nasty water monster like a Viper soon-ish that will give him really nice, easy situation to level up thanks to that wind ball.
Using enemy AI and knowing enemy range allows Septic to just not have to deal with those monsters. They just walk on by. Because they follow the left-hand rule. They will keep their left appendage against the wall basically any opportunity, except when they are in a room, in which case they will make for an exit. Which exit? An exit.
One continuation of my previous thought, based on what Wuga said in the chat, that curse affects traps. There is one more thing that curse actually affects, because luck that curse actually affects is also used when calculating dodge. So technically that curse makes it so that he has lower chance of a dodge, and the sole purpose of a leather shield that he is using right now is to get higher chance of a dodge. I don't know again the exact math with the calculation, whether it sort of equalizes each other with leather shield giving him higher chance to dodge and curse making it so that he will have lower chance to dodge, but yeah, definitely his dodge chance is now affected as well.
And that is unfortunate, because at this point I would say that leather shield probably represents the best defense of not thinking about your defense.
Oh, we can see that in the meantime Reven actually quite quickly caught up. He's only one floor behind with exactly the same level as Septic has, so yeah, Reven, good job. We have a match. Inventory on the Reven side is a little bit worse. I would say he still has like quite nice inventory in terms of those holy items, but only on 1 Olim fruit compared to 3 Olim fruits on Septic sides and 2 Mahel on Septic. There was an egg?
There was an egg. Reven just picked up another egg. If they were willing to use familiars, one could imagine, one could dream of yet another run, but not this time. Not this time, folks. An unfortunate loss. This is not pleasant. Pickets could play a lot of bad things with that. Oh no!
Yoink! Bye, Olim.
That is unfortunate.
Picket is the worst enemy of your good inventory. They'll be more than happy to take it away from you. Blue Sand is not a bad loss, but that Olim fruit, it's not critical, especially that you've got 2 others, but yeah. That's
just not a thing you really want to lose.
Exactly. In the meantime, Septic actually again built a lead. I don't know whether like he just had a good elevator or whether his movement was good, but yeah, he has now 4-floor lead.
Also, using a holy bell but getting a familiar bell in exchange, that's a little sad. Such is life. Oh, this is not an ideal situation.
No, the
Septic is getting the run around.
Yeah, I would say that like he's still sort of safe. Those spiders, as powerful as they are, Septic has an easy way to deal with them by using...
Oh, this is very bad. Septic is now pretty much cornered. There is nothing he can do to get out of...
And it's cornered in a very bad place, because he's out of the room, so he cannot use the Holy Bell, and that Widok will be more than happy to get there. Yeah, what do you do, Septic, now? Holy Scroll? Yeah, Holy Scroll.
That does seem to be the best one can hope for. And then just run. No.
Try to pick up. Oh, Septic. You're pushing your luck. Just run away. I know that the Tweedog will die. Okay. Pickup works as long as it works.
Yeah. Now I'm not really sure what Septic's next best move would be.
Toss away the spider and hope for another pickup? Or
Maybe
only...
so.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. That was an intense situation.
Yeah, that Widok was safe as long as it stayed on that Holy Scroll tile, but now that it's out of that tile, it had to die to those spiders. There was no hope for it winning. But Widok has done what it was supposed to do. Let's Septic continue
Neolim against it. Yeah. That's a weird choice.
I guess
because that was his, wasn't it?
He wanted no, that wasn't his. That he's
already
died.
That's fine then. Yeah, that's not a weird choice at all. Then this is an unfortunate situation.
Luckily, that Picket went away. Antidote Herb is not a big loss, but that Picket made it so that you unfortunately have to take a hit. You get to the elevator. You would want to check those glasses, but there is no time for it. Next floor, floor 20. That floor was quite...
Oh, Reven has caught up. This is the one that Septic has just left.
Exactly. That floor 20 was... floor 19 was very bad for Septic. Reven can get out of it, but he still needs to take a hit unless he decides not to.
Garuda!
Oh, no!
It's Reven thinking about it. Reven's gonna think about this one.
So I don't know, did they decide only that they're not allowed to use the egg, the starter familiar, or did they decide that, okay, if I find an egg in the tower, I'm allowed to use it? I wonder. We'll see soon enough. Yeah, Reven doesn't hatch yet, so probably that's not the situation.
Oh no, go down trap!
There you go.
That means that Reven has taken...
No, Septic is still in the lead. Septic is still in the lead.
Yeah, he got to that floor first.
Yes.
But I mean, in terms of like floor count, of which floor they are on.
Yes.
Because it looks like Reven is about to take a proper lead.
And now Reven does take a lead. And what's worse for Septic is that this floor was horrible for him. And now it doesn't look any better. He's just pincered by 2 Widows. So what will happen?
That inventory has been whittled down hard. That is one of those things that can happen when none of your items are single use. You can just burn through them and suddenly a set inventory. Oh!
Unfortunate loss.
Unfortunate. That means that Reven takes this friendly third. The tower was just a little bit kinder to Reven this time.
So that's the end of this match. We'll try to get both of them to the interview. Okay, that should be it. We should have them here soon-ish. So ready your questions, chat? If you have any. And yeah, Septic already says in the Discord that he hates go down traps. So I would say organizers' idea to troll the runners, yes, accomplished. Let's see, I can see that Septic is already here. Let me move him here. Hello, Septic. Congratulations.
Hello, thank you.
So I presume you love go down traps, right? They could let you stack up on inventory and everything.
Nah, I hate them.
Yeah, but
understandable.
But before we go there, I want to ask about floor 8, and I think you know which floor 8 I'm talking about.
I want to say the one that Reven ripped on.
The one that you had a little bit trouble to get out of. It was a tough floor for you.
That?
Seed number 1.
Oh yeah, well that was the one that
Reven
Reven
ripped
I
on.
do believe on.
Yeah, but you also like spend lots of time there.
Yeah, there was a lot of U-boats and yeah, everything was just like running into me in that particular round. Thankfully, Astra and the Blind and Medherbs, they do some good work.
Speaking of Astra, Rug has a question in chat. Why stick with the Astra rather than fuse it into Q?
I didn't want to use Kyun.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a statement.
I was kind
Two
of
haze
holding
echoes
on.
too.
Yeah. I was kind of waiting to see if we would find something on the climb early, like a clown or something, that would fuse well with the Astra, even though it's not liftable. I'd rather have one familiar that can do it all than put the double strength on Kyun and have him be liftable, but then also find a clown type of thing. So I was just kind of holding off on it for a little while.
Yeah, in Seed 1 there was a little bit of a divergence of paths, and I think that was one of the reasons why Septic had a little bit easier time on those water floors. Septic used Hazak Herb because you did find two already at level 5, and his Ashra was already dealing quite much damage against elemental disadvantage. You, Reven, didn't do it, so were you waiting for higher levels, or what was there?
I wanted to wait until I got to around, I don't know, floor 10-ish, whatever level I happen to be at that point, and then have the spare Hazak for, you know, when the damage started tapering off again. I guess it didn't really work out all that well, because I wasn't planning on using the Astra to actually attack on the water floors anyway. I was planning on essentially blinding and running away from everything. So his attack power didn't matter to me as much at that point.
Yeah, so what happened with that U-boat? Can you tell us?
What was that?
What happened with that U-boat?
Well, you see, what had happened was I spawned in a room with the U-boat. And I hatched this grand scheme that I was just gonna use some plushy luck and get a lift first try. Everything's gonna be fine. And it didn't work. And then it didn't work again. And I was on like 9 hit points or something. So I'm like, okay, new Grandmaster plan. I'm gonna step back, try to split the damage with my Astra, because I had a medicinal herb. I was gonna use the medicinal herb, hope that Astra could take a hit, and then I would blind the U-boat and just let it go. However, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I skipped a step in the second Grandmaster plan, and I forgot to use the med herb. So I blinded it, which gave it 0 chance of splitting the damage, and it just attacked me. So, yeah.
We've seen that. Actually, what happened on Septic's side is that he immediately went for the tank a hit with Ko by blinding a U-boat and walk away. That was his idea there, and that worked for him quite well on that floor. But yeah, floor 8 was absolutely horrible for Septic. He wasted so much time there, but it didn't matter in this case. So I guess it's time to talk about Seed 2. Septic, talk us through it.
Oh, I hatched Garuda. I was like, that's a Garuda. I'ma use it. So my thoughts here is I know Reven, I don't know if he's changed his strategy recently, but I do know that for a while there he was often waiting until like floor 5 to hatch that egg. And so I knew that I could just immediately pull a lead if that's still the case. And if not, it's Garuda. I'm just going to run around with it, get it a couple levels early. And if I see the elevator, I'm just going to take it. I got a Garuda, right? So
Right.
that was the game plan. And
clown happened.
Yeah, the clown. Oh my goodness. When I teleport to a floor with Garuda and I see the elevators next to me, I'm already holding the directional button, and I'm not really calculating the way Garuda's going to move with me, which is actually a very easy calculation. He's going to walk to the spot that I'm at before I walk. So if I'm next to a monster, he's going to be next to a monster. And then it was clown, and my heart sunk. I was like, I just lost this round. It doesn't matter that Reven waits until floor 5. As long as he doesn't lose his Garuda, I lost.
Yeah.
And
The
then
inventory wasn't that amazing, right?
it was not. I think I had like 2 decent items at that time, and that was all I had to go on. And but then, restore scroll.
Yeah,
That was
that
such a
restored you
beautiful
fully.
find.
But yeah, I think you would have been fine with that Garuda if the clown didn't go for a critical hit, right? That was what basically stuck your Garuda.
I don't know, I think Garuda had like 22 health at that time, and with
Yeah.
elemental disadvantage, like they already hit Ko for like 11 or 12, and the Garuda was only level 4, so I don't know if the crit really mattered, because I think he hit for 28. Maybe it did, but
I think you would have survived, but of course, like it could be checked. But I presume that you didn't want to get hit at all, and that was just like go fast mistake.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're already saying that like, okay, Septic now is in a little bit of a pickle. Yeah, he was 5 floors ahead. But without Garuda, Reven will catch up pretty quickly. But that never happened because you did find the restore scroll. Your lead actually went quite significantly higher than just 5 floors. I think you finished with, at some point it was even like 10 floors lead. So you were zooming pretty quickly. Reven was having a little bit less of a luck with Garuda.
Yeah, when I lost that Garuda, those next few floors before getting the restore scroll, I was moving just as fast as if I had Garuda. Like, the elevators were quite conveniently found. Not even necessarily on the span-in or scene immediately, but it was like, I just happened in that room and after like a couple room transitions, so once I saw that restore scroll, I knew I was still in it. I just didn't know what the difference, of course, was between me and Reven at that point.
Yeah, and Reven, what are your thoughts about seed number 2? How do you like the Garuda?
Look, guys, I mean, I really don't want to talk about it. There were so many things that I did wrong in there. I guess to answer your question earlier, Septic, in the previous tournament, I did wait for the floor 5 or whatever. I've kind of switched that up where I just kind of hatch both eggs immediately, and then because with fusion being an immediate option, it really changes that up. So I found Garuda immediately, went up, actually bagged my Mandara after I killed the troll, and I ran around solo for a little while just to level up Ko, and because I didn't want to hit like an unfortunate bomb trap and just immediately kill my Garuda. So I guess I kind of made the mistake of still searching the first 5 with the Garuda. I don't think it's super necessary, but I wanted to be, a little bit safe, considering who my opponent was. I was kind of in the same predicament where I knew that if my Garuda were to die pretty much at any point, it was game over. So I wanted to have as many resources as I could to prevent that from happening. And there was a lot of input errors. I almost lost my Garuda to Confuse Trap. I even had an anti-chaos herb, and I just wasn't thinking about it. I was trying to skip turns, and I was also trying to feed him a pita fruit from the ground, but somehow I opened my inventory and used a malicious scroll on myself. And then I walked away, and he stepped in it, and he walked into a snowman, survived with 1 hit point. I'm like, all right, we gotta go.
Yeah, I disagree with the strategy. I don't know. I don't think it's a good one.
No, I
That
mean,
wasn't even, if I recall rightly, your only near miss with a confusion trap or with a
no.
malicious.
Yeah, no, actually it wasn't, because I did hit a confusion trap on like 10 or 11.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I thought you were talking about with the what you were talking about initially, but no, there were just several incidents like that.
That was just a really bad seed for me. The one that you're talking about, it was right next to the elevator. I had a confusion trap with 2 clowns in the room, so I threw my Garuda across the room. I ended up having to use a holy scroll to try and get the lifts off because I had no way of dealing with them. And I eventually ended up bagging Garuda because he was just being so uncooperative. He kept trying to come back, and I was flustered. I'm like, I didn't even think about putting him on AI1, which could have really messed with me on the next floor if it was a bad starting room. There was a lot of mistakes in that seed, so I'm not surprised that I lost. Ultimately, I don't think I was too far behind. I think I was on like 32, 33, something like that when you guys called the match. And for Garuda, I mean,
I think there was some like probably small delay. I think you were around like 31, 32. When you stopped, I think you were on 33. But don't feel bad. It's not just that it was Garuda, but Septic had really amazing clear time. It was under 30 minutes. I think 29:40, something like this. So
29:51, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
it was really hard to beat Septic this time with a Garuda.
yeah,
It
very
was-
nice, man. Very nice.
Yeah.
That might
Thank
be a
you.
new record for this tournament, actually.
It might be very much. And last but not least, game number 3. I presume there was some behind the scenes agreement to not use any familiars, right?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It would be very interesting if this game was a decider because you did, Reven, find the Garuda egg that Septic never found.
Oh, why you gotta tell me that, Chai? I've looked at it so hard. I'm like, no,
No.
Yeah, so I was wondering, did you just agree to not use the starting familiars or did you agree to not use any familiars at all?
Well, to be straightforward, the way Reven worded it, I assumed we weren't going to use familiars, but the way it was worded was simply, "Are we doing glitch entry?"
yeah, I
So
might have worded
technically,
it a little. I might have worded it a little wrong, but it was intended to be a glitched entry commando.
Okay.
oh
Which
wait,
So
did you actually say?
I
think
do
I
want to
did.
ask about
You
this
did.
glitched entry because Septic,
Oh,
you're almost no,
don't,
wait.
no.
Septic, you're almost like a master of glitched entry, right? Because you're running any percent so often, you're doing it any time of the day, and it's always looks so smooth. This time you had problems. You didn't go there in the first go. First of all, you threw the apple too far. Then you couldn't jump from the apple to the wall. I was like, okay, Septic is like getting a little bit embarrassed with his thing. But I have to tell you, you are not alone in this endeavor.
No. You can stop right there, buddy. You can stop right there.
Yeah, you can tell us what
Yeah.
happened, Reven.
Oh man. In my last seed with Plushie, I don't know how the fruit even let me get on the wall because it was so far off to the side. So I made sure that I threw it closer to the center, and then I just couldn't. I couldn't jump. I couldn't jump on it. I kept falling off of it. The one time I did land on it. The one time I did land on it, I missed the wall. So I'm like, okay. I'm just gonna go back to my tried and true, and I ran around the corner and used the bush. I gave up on that on the P deck.
Yeah, you gotta watch it, Septic. It was fun to watch.
Oh, I'll definitely be watching it.
But yeah, that seed number 3 was actually pretty nice. Even though you were going familiarless, you were finding pretty good inventory. Especially Septic, I think at some point he had like 3 Olim fruits. One of them was younged by pickets. But yeah, you were probably set to do a lot of things in this tower.
And a go down happened.
and then go down happened.
Yeah, that was a rough one. And onto a floor that had already given you so much trouble.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, alright, I know the direction I took out of the starting room, and it took me forever to find the elevator, and I ran into so much trouble. I'm just going to go a different direction, and then lo and behold, hindered by wee dogs. And the way I was going already had arachnes following it. I think they weren't necessarily following. I think they were splitting off a different direction from that room, but I used a Mahel there and used a malicious scroll and still got 1 and 8'd. I knew I couldn't take a hit from that wee dog.
That was very unfortunate, and that floor was like very bad for you because you were having around like 4 to 5 floors lead again, but that was the floor where Reven caught up and actually took over. You like Reven entered floor 20 few seconds after you, but then of course you hit the go down trap. Reven found an elevator pretty quickly, and he actually got to like floor 23, 24 when you died. So Reven got the lead in that sense. He had a little bit smaller inventory than you, but after this floor 19 again, probably it would be even. And he also had like, what can I see now? 8 charges, no arise. That is definitely a power to you know have to destroy many water monsters.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I used the No Rise, I used it on a flame. Where it was no bread. I was just dumping the weaker ball. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was the ice version. And it didn't one
Happens.
shot, and I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and use another charge. I still got the Noah Rise, and then this Noah bread ball, so it's like I can probably spare a few charges, get a little bit of leveling, and make
Yeah,
sure this flame doesn't kill me while I'm level 2.
in the end, the unfortunate go down trap took the game pretty much. Luckily for you, that was a friendly third, right? So you took your revenge for the last tournament where Reven 2-0'd you, but this is not it for for Reven. He's going now to the losers bracket and can still fight against you in the finals if he like goes through the losers bracket successfully. So there is still a chance for you to like have the final match to see
There
who
is.
comes out
Really
on top.
isn't going to be a final matching because there will always be next tournament.
There will always be a next tournament. But yeah, I think that's all the questions that I had from you. Anything from you, Deme?
I think that about covers it.
Any final words from you, Septic Reven?
Good match, man.
Yeah, just
And
a
thank you to the
solid,
commentary team.
Thank
just
you.
a solid
Thank you for some
GG.
good racing.
All
And
right.
thank you to all the folks at SpeedGaming. And thank you to the folks at home. If you're interested in more Azure Dreams, be sure to join the Discord. We'll keep you updated on all the tournament matches.
And about the next matches, because this tournament, of course, is not done for yet, we've got still plenty to show off. And the next match that we will have will be on Saturday at noon EST. And right after that, we'll have another match at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and then one more on Sunday. So definitely come see it again. There is more Azure Dreams goodness that we've got for you. Again, thank you very much. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Speed Gaming. Thank you to the runners. Thank you, Deme, for helping me make this possible. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya!
Good night, everybody.
Later.